Hello, welcome. This is season 3 of the Authentic You podcast. Very exciting, guys, 3 seasons. And I am here with my friends, Erika Myburgh, and co-hosts. I mean, it's not just friends. Mm-hmm. And Deborah Giles. Yes. Okay, her name is just Deborah Giles, but that's how I make sure I say it right. Because when I see a G, I want to say Giles.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not very good with the English language.
We know.
Yes, Erica's pointed
It's not really
this out.
English, it's American. But let's not beat a dead horse.
Yeah. Anyway, we're here. Yeah. I've been friends with her forever, and the fact that I get confused with the last name is only a gift I have.
It's true.
It's only a gift I have. So, you guys, this morning, my husband flew home from England yesterday. And I woke up this morning to get ready, and he's not in bed. And I forget. I'm like, are you here? What's happening? And I text him, and he's like, yeah. I've been working in the backyard. And I was like, whose husband flies home from an international trip and wakes up probably around 6 a.m. and starts a project in the backyard?
Oh.
Like, is this normal?
It's like freezing right now.
Yeah, no, Banning doesn't care if it's hot, if it's cold. He starts a project when he's ready to start a project.
What is a project?
Yeah.
He is moving my planter boxes, raising them up to be level, and creating a new garden for me.
Oh. Wow.
Wow. No, he's amazing at the stuff he does. But who does that? And let's just talk about making me feel like a flippin' lazy butt. I'm like, I've had a really long week. Like, I only watched 3 movies last week, and I'm tired.
It's very hard to say something bad about him right now because that's pretty awesome, CJ, and you are lazy.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, but what the heck? Except for he did just call me. Just to make myself feel better, let's talk about how he's annoying, all right? Mm-hmm. So I'm out there this morning. He's showing me all the stuff he's going to do. But he cannot remember simple words when he's talking to me. So, okay, I know that sounds small, but I have to have something, all right? So he's pointing to things in the yard. One is a swing. And he goes, that will go there. And I'm like, what's that? I don't know what he's pointing to. We haven't discussed it. He's just like, and he goes, that. I'm like, no, what's that?
Right. Say it louder, say it slower.
And he can't get the words out. Just now he called me as we're getting ready to start this podcast. And he's like, did you take the expedition? I'm like, I did. He goes, I needed it to get, no idea. I don't know what he needed to get. Yeah. And so I just was like, is this normal? Does anybody else do this? Wake up at 6 a.m. after an international trip and start a project?
No.
No, right?
No, that is odd. Well, Erika might. Let's be honest.
No, well, my husband is great, and there's no 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And I will also be a little bit huffed if my coffee doesn't show up.
He still brought me my coffee.
Okay.
Oh, your husband is perfect, CJ.
But just today.
You must be menopausal.
Right, exactly.
Okay, here's my latest, like Mr. Perfect, sort of. Me and my kids giggle about this because he is, it's impossible for him to let me go out of the house without coming to say goodbye, and he loves me and have a good day and a kiss, and it must be menopause because it is so
that sounds awful.
What irritating to me because I'm downstairs and I'm in a hurry. Okay, I need to get to the podcast on time.
Yeah.
And I put on my shoes and then I say, okay, bye, love you. And then you hear the footsteps as he starts running. And I am like literally trying to run out the door. Yes, and run to the car because I'm going to get stopped. Yes. And I am on a roll. I need to leave. I don't want to stop. So it's this cute thing. And inwardly, my eyeballs are rolling. Like I can't. And I actually have said to him, listen. I said, listen, I love it so much. But when I yell goodbye, I said, please just let me go. I just let me go.
I've seen it in action.
It's very hard for him. He still storms down the stairs. He tries not to hug or kiss. And waves at the door. He tries not to walk to the car because I'm just storming to work and I can see like out the window. This is really, really, really hard for him.
He's the cutest man there ever was because he also stands in the driveway, you guys.
Really?
Anytime we leave, and he stands there and waves.
He does. It is in our genes as a South African.
Okay.
All those who know South Africans, this is what we do. Like the other night, my son is, he had a surgery on his knee and he's on crutches. And he let his his fiance actually, they're getting married next month, whole different podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, he lets her walk, like from the front door in the dark to a car in the road. I'm like, are you not going with her? I was like offended. And he's like, I'm on, and I'm like, you get your dad, your sister. Somebody has to walk her out to the car. I think she's now trying to run out the door too, so that like nobody walks out with her because there's weird South Africans.
Yes.
I just like hear the front door slam and I'm like, is she gone? He's like, yep.
It's
Like-
it must be because it's so not American. Can you
Right.
imagine the neighbors that just see this cute man every day waving goodbye to his
No.
different family members? Like he's so sweet. Like there's
It
nothing.
is.
It's so sweet.
And
He's
we
just-
would do that for if our family lived far away and you're saying goodbye and you don't see
You're
them
not
for
gonna
2
see
years.
it for another 2 years.
Yeah, but
Yes.
to
I
then
get
run
waved
errands.
at every single time I leave. And I am just like, please let me go. This is what I've asked him. And he's like, it's now 60-40
Yeah.
success rate.
My
Like,
favorite is when we would leave because it's so foreign for me,
Yeah.
this man waving at us. I've gotten used to it, but I feel bad. So I'm like turning around, waving at him. Like, thanks, Rainier. And
sometimes
she's like,
my youngest, when she's around, because she's caught onto this, she's like, Mommy's coming. You gotta go. You gotta go. So I'm like, one shoe on.
Totally rushing.
Like, yeah.
Okay,
I'm
but
like,
the
okay,
question
bye.
is, do you wave back? Like CJ, do you in the car, are
I
you
do.
required to
Like,
wave back?
but it's not a friendly wave. It's
I
like
feel
a,
like-
I got it.
I got, it just,
Yes,
yeah,
I'm
arm
like,
up.
you can't leave him hanging.
Right,
Like that's
right.
just plain rude. So
Yeah.
I'm like, not that awful.
No, you always wave. And I'm like turning around like, I see you, Rainier, I see you.
Nobody wants
you know
to
what,
let
though?
him wait.
I have my dad now that we have Find My Phone, and when I go to visit my dad, because he can see where I am in my car, when I'm pulling up to the house, he's outside waiting. Like there's an intensity, I think, being retired and nothing to do. And I could see Banning probably doing that, where there's this
Yes.
intensity of like, he's out there, he's ready. And you're like, okay, he's here. I don't even get a moment to collect myself and get my things. He's ready to go. And
The door is open.
The door's,
It's
no,
like-
he's opening your door. He's ready. He's been waiting.
We're
So
going to
it's
have
very
to
cute.
take that away from Banning.
No, you will.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah,
feel.
I'm warning you now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
there's-
you are not outing Daniel on anything right now.
No, I was thinking about it. You know, we work together. We obviously live together. We do. I know
You
it's
do?
wild.
Really good
I know
thing.
it's crazy.
Yeah, well
We do
done.
everything together. But he has this thing which my dad does as well, and I get triggered. You know, when a parent does it and then your spouse begins to do it, you're like, I'm out. Where he feels the need to, the minute he gets in the car, make a call to you. Like he just wants to get in the car and start calling, and I'm like, I have been with you the entire day. There's nothing new in our lives. And he's like, how you doing? What's going on? I'm like, I saw you 2 minutes ago. I can make up things in our life. And then you feel boring because you're like, I can tell you things. And he's a guy. I'm not going to talk about,
Okay, that's
girly things. But I'm like,
hilarious.
I don't know what else
So
to say.
he just said goodbye and he leaves
And then
around
he-
the block and then he calls
picks,
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's ready to talk.
Yeah.
And
Stop
I'm like,
it.
I got nothing.
You should
So-
make a list of people he can call and hang it in the phone. And hang it
Well,
in the
I don't
car.
always pick up. He'll make his rounds, as does my dad. Like I know when my dad's calling, he's in
Yeah.
the car. Like that is just what they do. But I'm just like, I got nothing for you, buddy. Like I have to think of things. Like,
That's
well,
so
Deborah, that
amazing.
So Banning also calls me
Yeah.
when he's in the car. But we have this thing that he's a hypocrite because he will call me and he expects me to be
Yes.
available when he
yes.
calls. But if I call him, he's like, CJ, you're going to be home in 5 minutes. Like, why are you calling me right now? I'm all,
Oh my gosh.
wait, don't you do this every day? Every day? I usually know, he's on his way home from CrossFit. Here comes the phone call.
No.
And it's usually
Do
the
you
same.
ever try not to answer?
Oh, yes. Are you kidding?
But then it's also big
Yeah,
fights.
you've been with my
I know,
my
it's-
family doesn't take a
it's
no
been
answer.
so-
No,
many years,
There's
yes,
relentless.
it's-
Like they're relentless.
Yeah, does Daniel take a no answer?
Yes.
Oh, so
Yes.
does your dad
Yeah.
take a no answer?
He will call
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Banning's like, Oh, you must not have got that call.
And he'll call again.
Call again. A text message. What are you doing? And my daughter is the exact same way.
She's intense.
She might be worse. Ellie.
She calls her 3 times and then I get called.
Really?
Because she can
Within
see
minutes.
my location on the phone. Yes, so she kind of knows I'm with her mom.
Right.
And then I get 1 or 2 calls. Grandpa calls me. The whole family calls me. And I usually look at CJ. I'm like, is this one I'm answering?
And I'm like,
or
do not answer that phone call.
Yeah.
I have not answered them 4 times for a reason.
Yes.
Because most of the time they're like, Mom, look at the cats. Even Banny.
Oh.
I wanted to show you the cats. Mom.
Right.
Nothing urgent. Very simple.
No. Or like, do you know where I am?
Right.
Do you know what's going on?
It's true.
Yeah.
So funny.
Oh, you guys. Well, these are my favorite podcasts when it's just us. Not that I don't love our guests, but
Yes.
I do miss just chatting with you guys and just talking about life and not feeling crazy.
Right.
Like, we all love our husbands.
Yeah.
And they all do things that we're like, why? Why do you do this? Like, why? And I love that they're not here to talk about the things that we do.
Right.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah,
'cause
we do
we're
nothing
perfect.
wrong.
No, we're great. I'm like, I do the dishes and vacuum and laundry. I mean, this is like,
Their flaws are just
what can
their
I
flaws.
do wrong? Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously, my husband's flaws, everybody else would pay money for. And but they're still my husband's flaws that I have to live with.
Right.
Okay, it's the burden I bear. All right. So I just wanted to talk about. Well, we've got a pretty special season that I've been really excited about, just sharing women's stories. I could give a little bit of background, and then we'll just talk about us. But I was in a car with somebody who was talking about trauma that happens in our life and how we're never the same. Like our DNA changes. Like who we are is never the same once we've experienced this. And we shouldn't be able to live normal lives if you've gone through this. And I was like, gosh, I don't agree with that at all. Like I have gone through some pretty rough stuff. And I do not feel like it has made me worse, but it's because of Jesus, not because of I'm great, but because Jesus is so kind and he meets us. If we pursue him, if we ask, simply ask, he meets us. And so I started to think through different women's stories that I know. And I'm like, man, if that guy was right, this person shouldn't be who they are. Because their trauma should completely have taken them out. And so I just thought, man, I just want to get women's stories out here for other women to hear, to know, man, nothing you have gone through can stop you or hold you back with Jesus. And I mean, a lot of it, these are amazing women, but it's not because of them, it's Jesus, you know? And I don't know, it kind of created a righteous anger in me of like, don't tell me that I can't be because of something somebody else did to me. Like, no, or because of the family I was born into, I now can't be this great human being. No way. I will not accept that for my life.
It's good.
That's what you guys will be hearing in future episodes. But today, I have been thinking, and I think it's because I am in I feel like a massive season of growth. So in my vulnerability of 1,000 things to work on, I wanted to make you guys feel vulnerable. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. It's just not fair if by myself, I have to constantly be working on things and you guys don't. So we're going to talk about like, what are the things we're working on? And I feel like at 48, I should be done working on things. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like I've done it. I have grown. I have been grown. I have learned the things. I went through school. I don't have to learn any more things yet. I am constantly confronted with things I need to work on.
Isn't that life, though?
Yes, but I don't
Like-
think it's fair.
I see.
No, not really.
I see.
Not really.
It's true.
Doesn't it feel like we should be good now in life? Like the next 40 years, we just get to coast through, right?
I have no words, really, because I can't even imagine a life not growing.
Yes, I'm just tired of the things that are in front of my face of like, yep, I got to work on that. I got to learn how to communicate with my 19-year-old son. Oh, man, I thought I'd done so good raising him, and now I have to adjust because he's growing.
Oh, I totally hear what you're saying, CJ. I think, not to counter you, but I think one of the biggest things I've learned from you, actually, being friends with you and in this environment and from Banning, is to, like, I think all of us can come up with a massive list right now. Give us a minute to write down all the things we think we should be working on. I think it's never ending, obviously.
Yes.
And number two, super overwhelming, because we can be better in everything. And I think we definitely, as women and moms, we're so hard on ourselves. However, learning from you that what is God saying right now? What is He shining His light on? What is the thing that He is putting in front of us right now to focus on in the midst of the long list that we can come up with? Because also when we go to Him, it's not like He comes to us with a list, right?
He prints mine out. Says, CJ,
He takes me.
Here is your list.
No, I'm like, all that to say is when we finally sit down and pour out, like I pour out the list to Him, or He never comes back at me with, yep. This is, it's like there's a kindness and there's a grace. That's the thing. There is a, like, where is the grace? What area is filled with grace right now to move into, so that He can bring about, allow Him to bring about change? Because
absolutely,
I think one thing that we definitely are drowning in right now in this environment and how everything is out there is like there is so many. You're just inundated with, here is 5 steps to do this. Read this book, do that, but only that. For this thing, you can pay $80. For this thing, $10. So like in the simplest of areas, like your eating or your whatever, you can just scroll and I'm like, this is unbelievable. And everybody quotes theirs as the best.
Absolutely.
And I feel completely overwhelmed with what is out there and what is available. And I have to, like, God, I need your counsel from heaven to help me sift through everything that's coming at us. And it's not even that I'm super active on social media or anything. It's just even the minimal.
Oh, yeah.
It's you have got to work on this and you have to do this and this is the way. And I'm like, in the end, I've just been trying to get back to the absolute basics of, Lord, what it is that you are saying. And I'm like, I'm going to eat this way or I'm going to do it this way until I can hear your voice with your counsel, or like put your grace on something and help me in the midst of all of this recognize your voice.
Yes.
I think it's becoming, and it's not becoming harder. I think it's user error in the end, being vulnerable about that. But it's like recognizing His voice and the still small voice in the midst of all the good ideas. And
I really get irritated when I bring my list to the Lord and then He does agree with me on one of the points. Like, yeah, this is where we're focused. I'm all, no.
Yeah.
Me and you are in the position of I'm great and I'm supposed to bring this to you and you erase it. No. It's just been a very intense season, I would say, of me growing in multiple areas and it be in your face.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, this thing that I'm working on at work, I'm also working on at home. And I'm also working on with my extended family and how I communicate and how I share things. And it's that where you're like, oh, I can't just escape from work. Like, I'm just working on that at work. It's like, oh, okay, the Lord is pointing out this in my heart. Like, I'm working on how I communicate very clearly what I need and what is going on. And it is way harder for me to share my needs than I realized. I mean, you and I just had this talk the other day about me wanting peanut butter, and I wouldn't say out loud I wanted peanut butter, you know, and it was like,
Or peanut butter. Just want to say for those.
I like to say peanut, and the Lord,
peanut.
the Lord actually hasn't told me I have to work on how I say peanut.
Like, today I have less words.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I relate with you in that two things. One is I don't want to stop growing. And I think I've seen people get into their 40s, they've had their kids have grown, and they are just at a place of like, I don't want to grow anymore. Like I've done my growing in my 20s and 30s. Kind of they even refer to it as the good old days. Like I remember when I used to do that, and I used to serve in the church, and I raised my kids, and they've kind of like, they're at a place now of like, I've made it. I'm done. I don't need to grow anymore. And I think what you're saying, which I really like, is that as things get highlighted, it's really hard. I'll just be honest, being even perimenopausal, because I feel like I don't know how to say this, please forgive me, but you're almost pregnant where your emotions are at a very high level all the time.
Absolutely.
And so the ability to manage those emotions in the middle of growth, where before you had an excuse, like I'm pregnant, I'm just going to go home and I'm just going to, raise my babies and nurse my babies and call it a day. You have to now show up all the time. There's no excuses. You're not raising little ones. You're not like, you're here. You're an adult. You have to, show up as an adult. And so I think there's that growth that happens. But I think in my own life, one of the things that the Lord has been really, I thought I was dealing with a lot of, I get seasonal depression. And so I was like, I'm just getting seasonal depression every year. And last year I kind of went through the process of going, I'm just down. I don't know what it is, feeling more anxiety and thinking maybe it's anxiety, never had anxiety before. And then the Lord really pointed out to me that it was connected to my value system, that I was not living in my values. And so my anxiety was up because I wasn't living in my value system. So when I was working and my kids were getting home from school and I wasn't there for them, my anxiety was through the roof because I wanted to say hello to them and connect with them. Or when I was, doing different things where I knew like my value system was to have dinner on the table with them at, once a week, maybe not every night, but there were times when I was just running around and going, this is feeding my ego or what I want to do in my life, but it's not connected to who I am or what I want to create. And so I think we can check off a lot of things off our list of what we want, but at the end of the day, if it's not connected to who we are called to be and who God's called us to be and the value system of who we are, we start to get this, like, if we don't grow into it, there's something off and we don't know what it is. And I think the biggest thing that if we don't want to grow, is to go into avoidance. And I think avoidance is really easy in this season. I think distraction is probably the easiest thing you can do now than ever, is to just distract yourself. So it's, what I love you talking about, SeaJay, is that in the middle of it all, you're choosing not to just get distracted. You're saying, there's new seasons. Like I'm learning to deal with, like communicate with my son in a new way. I'm learning to deal with these things with my family. And I'm not going to just write it off as that's just who I am. Right? Yeah. Like that's just who I am.
I'm just the woman in everybody's life that just does whatever they want.
Yeah.
Which Erika doesn't experience this.
Right. This is her anointing and grace that you're learning.
Well, no, I'm saying she doesn't experience it with me, because when you're really good friends with somebody, I feel like they get to see the true side of you. Like, it's not like I just do whatever you want. And I don't do that with my husband either. But with my kids, I can be very like, oh my gosh, what? So you actually don't want to walk on the ground. You just want to walk on me. Let me lay down. And okay, you've made 3 steps. Let me stand up. I'll lay down again and this makes you feel better to walk on me. Great. And then I'm like, what are you doing? It's just like stuff like that of like, I need to clearly communicate what I need in these seasons. And sometimes it feels scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, obviously we are talking maybe because of our age and the phases of life we are in, talking maybe a different demographic right now, but I feel definitely like, I'm 52 and I got 1 kid that's married. The second one is getting married next month. And it is the most wonderful time in life, and it's also the hardest time in life. And I never was prepared for the hard part of this. And it's been so interesting for me in this season. I feel like just you talking about your sense of self and who you are, and I feel like my whole motherhood, what I think of me as a mom is coming under a magnifying glass, and it's not awesome. You know, I feel like my kids, like I've had lots of tears and thing where the kids are at an age to where they just say things, and it is just hurtful. Like, there's just like Mom, you're just always like this, or you just, and I am like, it gets to me and I have to figure out, is it true? Is this how they experience me? Is there a blind spot in me? What is going on here? Because I wasn't prepared for how violent my emotions are around this whole thing. Like, I am, like, do you all think I suck?
Right.
Because I like to vacuum the house 2 times. Like my son said the other day, in passing, he said, I have an uncontrollable need to clean. And that really was not awesome for me, because I took that so negative, and it sat with me the whole day. And then later in the day, I had to ask my husband, like, is that how you experience me? And anyway, I went deep emotionally. Like, that took me out for a while. And my husband is like, I don't want like careless words like that to affect you this deeply. And I had to go to my room and I had to go wrestle. Like, okay, God, what are you saying? What do you see? I like more than ever need to know what he is seeing and what he is saying, because all 3 of us are almost at a different phase of this whole menopause journey and what it causes in us. But it's like, it comes at my very most basic of things that I thought, like you say, I got this. Another example is like, everybody knows I love to eat well, I love to work out and stuff, and things are not the same. Strength is not the same, what I eat is not the same. And then I had to come to a place where I was, and if you've listened to this long enough, you know that I'm one who says, oh, I love the process. Love the process. But the Lord has had to bring me to the place where I'm now as basic as, like, God, I actually trust you more than I trust the process. And it was surprising for me how hard that was to say too, because I'm such a consistent person and I love the process and I love routine and all the things. And when all of that is shaken and it's not the same.
Right.
Things don't work like, I have to find a new normal. I have to find new things that work or whatever. And I just had to bring it all back to this laser focus of, God, I trust you more than I trust this process that I've always believed in and that I think is good. And I think you gave it to me, but I trust you more. And so I need you to guide me through, like, okay, are you good with who I am as a mom? What is it that I should change? And what is it that I should actually be confident in who you made me to be and not apologize for? And how, that's way more emotional and way more deep and like rocking the boat situation than I thought it would be.
Well, kids they're because you live with their blunt, like they don't hold any punches. And like, even my daughter, who I believe is at Enneagram 1, will say, like, I'm going to raise my kids so much better than you. And she will. Like, I know she will. She'll have a routine and a schedule and she'll do all the things that
I want them to do better.
I do.
It's surprising how hurtful that is.
Fully, but you're like, I am doing the best I can. Yes. Like, you only knew how much how good I'm doing. Yes. And so there's this like, it's almost like the person who doesn't have kids yet, who's like, when I have kids, get ready. And you're like, wait till you have kids. Because you just, in an idealistic world. So I feel like with them, when they're looking at it, they're going, well, you're like this and but that's very idealistic. Wait till, they're the things that I feel that frustrate them now about me, they're going to love one day that I do.
Yeah, like, I really hope so.
Right? I hope so. That's what I tell myself.
So. Yes, for those of you that are younger and menopause feels so far away, I just want you to know that we'll be here for you. And I wish somebody would have prepared me they would have told me. Like, you just hear these stories. And I think older women don't talk about it. It's like a shame. And I will say, we're breaking the shame.
Fully.
The
Oh,
hot
yes.
flashes you all get to see. When I have one and I strip down to my bedtime tank top that I shouldn't be seen in, I'm sorry, but I just stepped into a sauna and I'm dying. And you guys can't see the sauna, but it's real.
It's true.
It is actually, I have had to say multiple times, God, like you made us like this, okay? Well, actually, I do realize nobody should be mad at Eve. Like it's Adam that didn't have control and, all the things. But all that to say, all the way back after that, Lord, this is how we are put together, and change, we are going to change. So I ask for great grace to navigate the change that is going to come. It's no use trying to escape it because it is going to come.
Coming.
But there are parts of it that is so tender and
Yes.
good, because we're also at the phase where we're like, oh, this is going to make me cry.
That's
I
okay.
don't cry often on here. Anyway, we're so closer to our moms, our moms
Yes.
are...
Yes.
Where we remember them,
Where we
too.
remember, and I'm like, I was in my 20s and then I can remember what I thought or didn't think of my mom, and my mom was navigating what I'm navigating right now, and I'm like, oh, I wish I knew then what I know now. I wish I had
Yes.
more
Yes.
grace and kindness in me, and especially in my situation where I don't have time with my mom anymore, really. Like, it is so tender. It is so...
Yeah.
I need him so close to me because
Yeah.
it's really hard. It's hard to navigate also if you don't have a mom. I would have loved her in my life right now.
Yes. Yeah.
As a strong woman filled with wisdom and
Yeah.
kindness. So all that to say, I want to be that mom.
Yeah.
20 years from now, I want to be that grandma.
Yes.
And so this is why I'm committed to growth now.
Yeah.
This is why I will not stop growing, because I want to grow into the grandma 20 years from now who does bring strength.
Yes, absolutely.
And who is a fountain of wisdom, who is grace and peace for
Yes.
our children and their children navigating whatever.
Absolutely.
And so for me, that is what I hold in front of me.
Yeah.
If I want to be that grandma, I will grow now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I will commit
Yes,
to that.
you're right. It's so good, Erika.
Wow.
I have 2 points to make before we close that will make you all feel better after Erika drops the truth of why we have to grow, which is actually so good. So good. But in all fairness, I think most of our moms had hysterectomies. So they didn't actually go through
That
this.
is true. Mine did.
Yes. So you know what? Those women, I just want to point out that they kind of took a shortcut, and they were given pills
Do you
that
not
made them.
go through anything?
No, they
like
give
this
you
at
hormone
all?
replacements. So you have like a rocky few months till you get settled.
Yeah.
But no, they're not going through this. They're not. I know because I've talked to them.
Well, and my mom was she's very much like CJ's personality, very happy, fun. I knew her as happy and fun my entire life until she hit her mid-40s, and then she would get upset. And I was like, why are you upset and angry? Like, you were the happiest, fun mom ever. And I always judged her for that.
Yeah.
Like, why are you uptight? You're not uptight, Mom. And now I get it. She was going through menopause, and I had no idea.
Did your mom? I mean, I love your mom's going to want to talk about this.
Yes.
Did she get a hysterectomy?
No, she didn't, and she didn't do anything, and she wished she would have. So she was a hippy dippy. She did nothing. She didn't do any hormone replacement, nothing, and she looks back and says, "I wish I would have done something." So for all you out there, I don't know. I'm just beginning the process. But the other thing is, when you're talking CJ, Erika, I was thinking. We talk a lot about remembering our pregnancies, and we will, if people ask, we'll talk about it, we'll explain it, we'll share it, but we don't really get that from older women about menopause. And I wish we could get a little
wish
more
they
of that.
would.
So we need to remember and put it in our minds so that when our girls go through
Yes.
this, we get to go, hey, this is what you're going to feel and go through. And
I'm even talking to my girls about it now.
Yeah.
Like, I apologize. Like, I'm actually sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm doing well today. Because that's the other thing. When you're pregnant, you're aware. Or
Fully.
when there's other things happening that make your emotions go crazy, you're aware. With menopause, that doesn't happen.
You're right.
So you just feel, and it feels justified. You're like, I don't know. everybody in the world breathes too heavy, and I hate them. And I don't know why, but I'm going to run them over, and I feel like I have a right to do that. And so all of a sudden when I have these thoughts now, I'm like, oh.
Right.
So I'm trying to, like, with my girls especially, because Lake just kind of looks at me like, what are you talking about? But with my girls, I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. My hormones are going a little crazy. I'm going to go give myself a quick time out because that isn't who I want to be. Regardless of what's going on inside of me, this is not who I want to be.
Yeah, it's good to include them in the process. I've had to tell my kids too, I'm more sensitive now
Yeah.
than I used to be
Yes.
before. So when you say that, that's pretty sensitive to me. And 5 years ago, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't care less, but I do care now, you know. And so, we're pioneering because I mean, it's good to good to be open and let them all into the process. Because for me, it's like this is not a bad thing. We didn't do anything wrong. This is a natural part. And God's grace and His kindness is the same. His faithfulness, showing up for us, guiding us through, it's the same.
We should do a menopause class.
We should.
Okay, I do want to say, so here's a nice lesson for all of you moms, which I'm sorry if you're not a mom yet, but maybe this will entertain you. So about almost 2 weeks ago, we had to put our dog down, which was like the end of the world for our family. But what it brought up was how Banny and I handled the first dog we had to put down when our kids were a lot younger. And our kids are like bringing up now, they're like, why did you guys do it that way? And you guys, it was so bad. Like number one, we told them, here's the day we're going to put her down because we made an appointment. Then the day of, Banning told them what time the appointment was, which we thought, look how great we are. Yeah. We are processing
Clear
with our children. Yes, we've told them now, and then we sent them off to school. So in my head, I'm like, they're going to be with their friends. It's going to help them be distracted. Lake was like 9 years old, and he's talking about it. He goes, I remember looking at the clock in his 4th grade class and going, Lily's dead now. And like just being sad. And I was all, oh my gosh. But so I'm giggling now. This is what I do. I laugh at myself to make myself feel better. But I looked at him and I said, because with this one we did it way different. We were all together. It was the most dramatic thing I've ever experienced. Like it could have been a movie around we're laying on the ground with the dog in the vet's office. Everyone's looking at us as we're wailing, showing him videos of Raya who couldn't be there. Like, I'm not kidding. It was like the most dramatic thing. But I had this moment with Lake where I looked at him and I said, hey, bud, I'm sorry for how we did that with Lily. I do want you to know, though, that's the first time I've ever had to put a dog down with my kids. And we did the best we thought we could. And it's just been the start of a continued conversation with my kids of not being afraid to own, like, oh, wow, I'm so sorry we sent you to school with a clock to tell you what time your dog was going to die and we're not together. But it was like such a healing moment of like also grace towards me. Like we really tried to do it well. And in my head, because that's the way my family did it, they just put the dog to sleep while you were like, I wonder if my dog's okay. I just thought, so it's just this continued growing. I guess this would even be the growing part of like, even in the midst of grieving a dog that I loved, I'm having to own to my kids, I'm sorry for how we did it before.
And how important that is, because I think sometimes when kids bring up things later, or we think of things in our childhood later, our parents, they didn't own it. They get defensive, they get passive aggressive, they get, well, that's not how you remembered it. They don't own the like, I'm sorry that was your experience. And I'm sorry that I couldn't have done it better. And letting them see a little bit of your inability to do it yourself. Like, I just think, I love the humility, because I think that's all we're looking for, is just the ability to say, hey, I didn't do it right. I'm sorry. We're going to do it again. But because they don't say it that way, things get unresolved and they stay unresolved. And then it begins to be like, what is it my fault that I didn't process the dog dying the right way? When no, it probably wasn't done the right way. And I love that you're able to say, hey, we didn't do it the right way and we get to do it again. And it gets to be better.
I will say, if you have a daughter like my oldest, who is a know-it-all and very confident, okay, she's amazing. But I had 2 moments. I am not an angry parent and I'm not a reactive parent. 2 times I lost my cool. One, I threw her keys into the street because I was so mad at her. And one time I did throw my cards at her when we were playing Nerds. And she has brought those up so many times.
Oh, I bet.
And finally, and I've apologized. And finally I looked at her and I said, give me more examples of where I lost my cool.
Right. This is 2 times.
You keep holding those 2 over my head. Give me more. And she couldn't do it. So I will say there is a line of things we have to own with these overconfident children.
True.
Anyway, well, ladies, thank you for being vulnerable. Erika, thank you for teaching us and bringing us to this is what she does.
Yeah.
Like, I talk nonsense. She drops the truth. And me and Deborah are just sitting here like, all right, we're going to take notes, write that down. No, you do. You carry such wisdom and so thankful for you. But this is going to be a great season, ladies. I encourage you to listen to each woman's story. They will encourage you, challenge you, inspire you, and hopefully raise your hope in your life of what God has for you. All right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Authentic You podcast. Be sure to follow us on socials. And like anything else, Jesus Culture Podcast Network is easy to find. And we'd love to hear what God's doing in your lives or what your thoughts are on what we talked about today. So comment or message us. Share today's episode with a friend. And if you haven't already, go back and binge seasons 1 and 2. You can find us on JesusCulture.com or anywhere where you listen to podcasts.